I can't looking for you with Haitians. I stay on good Jamaican. From different races. You get money, they started hating. I woke up in a new Bugatti. 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 I woke up in a new Bugatti.
Be hating on riches of 100K I spent that on my wrist. $200 spent that on your model, put that on my list. Or that he going that foreign again. In the scene, bring the core in the end. We should have wrote.
No. Thing goes together like the Pacers and Indiana as we get ready for an interconference contest here in Indianapolis. Glad to have you with us for more NBA action. I'm Kevin Harlan with Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony and Doris Burp reporting from the sidelines. A look at the San Antonio Spurs opening lineup. Parker out there with Anderson. Then there's Kawhi Leonard. Then there's LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Diaw in the pivot spot manning the middle. Here's Aldridge. And even after 2 offensive rebounds, they just can't get the lid off.
That's the kind of D you need when he's got the ball near the hoop. They were all over it.
George passes to Ellis. Here's Mahinmi. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
And listen, San Antonio is an older team, actually the oldest in the league last season. And because of injuries and days off, they didn't get to field that preferred starting 5 a lot last year.
And he sinks the second. Spurs only used their preferred lineup less than half the season, but still a strong campaign. 22 games played with the starting lineup of Parker, Green, Leonard, Duncan, and Splitter.
And, you know, the Spurs will go on to use 23 different starting lineups, Kevin. That would be the 5th most in the NBA.
Clock at 6. Anderson outside. Diaw with a wide-open look. Can't get it to go. On offense, here are the Pacers. And George kicks to Ellis. The feed to Turner. Can't get it to go. And San Antonio will go the other way with it. Here's Leonard. Spurs passing it around. Good.
And he's starting to get what he wants here early and often. Nice move.
Little over a minute 30 into this first quarter. Now here is Hill. Outside, George. Feeds it to Mahinmi. Shot clock at 6. Lets it go from 11. Ellis can't get it to go. Hill against Parker. Pass to Diaw. And it's a defensive 3-second violation. And for Kyle Anderson, he had so many traits, Greg, the Spurs were looking for when they drafted him back in 2014. But He spent pretty much the entire season on the pine.
Yeah, and you know that Coach Pop makes his guys earn their minutes. You know, he doesn't care if he took you in the first round or if you're an undrafted free agent. He's going to play the guy who helps his team win.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Diao. And it's Green in for Anderson. Back to Parker. From 17 feet out. Here's Duncan. The reverse. Outside, George. It's back to Hill. Kicks to Ellis. Here's Turner. Terrific assist, a nice finish. Solid play all around.
You know, talking about Kyle Anderson, he's a bit of a polarizing prospect, has a multifaceted skill set. I mean, excellent court vision, outstanding length, doesn't have elite athleticism, absolutely needs to get stronger, but he's got a lot of game.
The Pacers have gone 1 of 3 for the field to start this one so far. That doesn't go either for Ellis.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
First quarter of action, just under 3.5 minutes played. It's stolen by Duncan. Out of bounds, Indiana takes possession.
Boy, did they ever make a mess out of that one. A terrible turnover.
And guys, getting back to Kyle Anderson, not a fit for every system. I mean, he's a guy who needs the ball in his hands to be effective, and he's much more of a facilitator than a finisher at this stage.
That's now 4 misses on their first 5 attempts. Still trying to find the rhythm and flow here offensively.
It's stolen by Hill. And now the fast break. George with the ball. And the rejection by Leonard. A nice shot by George. San Antonio trailing here. Parker dishes to Aldridge. Back to Parker. And the rejection by Mahimi.
Man, it's a block party. Jesus.
Now Hill looking for his first basket still in this one. And that one's good, Ellis. Spurs trailed by 4. They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've had a number of empty ones, a long time without a basket.
They got to find something, you're right. Now here's Ellis. Hill with it. Now Green defending. Ellis wide open. And that one's good. Turner's got his second basket.
Just a grinder. Always doing the dirty work on the offensive glass. And that's one of the things he brings to the table.
In the corner, it's Aldridge. Deflects the pass. The drive by Green. Misses, and the dry spell continues.
If they could end every possession with that shot, they'd be happy. 9 times out of 10, that's an easy layup for them.
Turner passes to Ellis. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Tell you what, Monte Ellis is one of the best second-round draft picks of all time in the league, not just the last decade. I mean, this guy was a 5-star recruit out of high school, committed to college, but changed his mind and entered the draft, where the Warriors stole him with the 40th pick in 2005.
A different look now for San Antonio. Manu Ginobili, he's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. And it's Mills in for Parker. Both free throws good from Ellis. Getting back to Monte Ellis. Had he gone to college for even 1 year, I think he would have probably been a top 10 pick. But you look at what he's brought to the table over his career. Points and assists, rebounds, steals, playmaking. His production has been astounding.
You know, he's one of those unsung players. He never gets voted to the All-Star game. It never gets spoken about as one of the top guards in this league. But you look at the body of work and you ask his competitors throughout this league, and they're going to tell you that guy's as tough as they get.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game.
First off, look, every year there are All-Star game snubs, and perhaps last year Monte Ellis was the big one in the West. Hard to leave him off given the way he played for the Mavs.
For Monte not being an all-star, there are a lot of guys that could have made an argument to be there. Monte's was as strong as any.
Yeah, and his own coach said that Monte deserved it more than Dirk, his teammate. And not a shot at Dirk by Carlisle, just Rick expressing how valuable Monte was to the Mavs.
San Antonio making a switch here. Diaz checked in. And Mills kicks to Duncan. And it's sent back by George.
Rebounding is going to be the focal point for them in this one, fellas. I can feel it.
No, it always is, and it has been so far, and they've gotten a nice edge on the glass.
And the dunk by Duncan.
And it doesn't really matter who starts the break with how he runs the floor. He seems to always be the one who finishes.
Yeah, he is so fun to watch in how he attacks the rim at full speed like that, man. It's something to behold the way that guy gets to the rim.
Down to 5 on the shot clock. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Spurs will take it.
And really just a lack of awareness on his part. Just no idea he was right near the line.
On the wing, Green. From past the arc. And a clear foul there as he shot the triple. He'll go to the line for 3 free throws.
You know, for the Pacers last season with Paul George being out for most of the season, they knew it would be a struggle. They would go into lengthy dry spells that made it hard for them to keep pace in the East, in part because they missed Paul George's all-around brilliance and his offense.
As for those dry spells you mentioned about the Pacers, G8, they had a number of long losing streaks last season.
Yeah, as a team, they had 4 different losing streaks of 6 or more games, and they got hot at the end. Season-high win streak of 6 to stay playoff relevant. It was just too little, too late compared to their losing streaks earlier in the year.
Duncan dishes to Mills. Ginobili left side. Good, and it's Dia with the assist that time. Ginobili's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3. George passes to Turner. And George kicks to Mahimi. Dishes it to Hill. Up and in on the layup. And the Pacers lead by 8.
That was the 3rd straight high percentage look this defense has allowed. I mean, these defenders have got to start bumping bodies in the paint. Be more physical. Be more aggressive.
The game's just far too easy right now when it comes to attacking the basket. They have got to do better.
Pass to Duncan.
In building this lead, they've done a terrific job finishing their defensive sequences with the backboard. That has been key.
Yeah, you're right, Greg. Not one second chance bucket for the opposition. They're boxing out on every shot.
Poked loose. Ginobili with the steal. Paul George with the steal. And now the fast break. George with the ball.
How about the start that they've gotten off to here? Huge lead, and we're still in the first quarter.
And, guys, it hasn't just been the scoring. I mean, they're playing tremendous defense, too.
Diaw dishes to Green. He kicks it to Ginobili. 5 to shoot. Duncan, the pass to Ginobili. And he gets it to go. Ginobili's got 5. Pacers leading by 8. So the Pacers call timeout, their first of the game. And guys, Tim Duncan still dominant after 18 years. You know, he's reshaped his body. He has gotten a brand new diet, which he says has had a huge benefit. We saw it in the playoffs last year. Greg, I think, you know, he probably was one of the top 5 overall performers in last year's playoffs.
No doubt about it. We continue to write this guy off, Kevin, and he just continues to defy Father Time. I mean, there was a point where he was starting to feel the wear and tear, especially in his knees, but being the competitor he is, he decided to dictate to his body rather than letting his body dictate to him.
Catching up on the changes now for Indiana. Jordan Hill, he's checked in for Mahinmi. Lavoy Allen comes in for Turner. Rodney Stuckey subbed in for Ellis. Diaw, the screen. And the wide open shot from Ginobili. That's good, and it's Leonard with the assist.
You know, getting back to Duncan, when you talk to his teammates, they'll tell you he's disciplined. He maintains a strict diet, does off-the-floor training, from boxing to swimming, throwing tires, running in the sand. That keeps him motivated and engaged.
And that one gives them a +5 rebound advantage, Kevin.
Pretty clear. They're dominating that area. They've come out with a lot more energy and effort so far.
And Kawhi Leonard with the slam.
Tell you what, he's not an easy guy to stop when he's got his sight on the rim.
Never has been, never will be. He is a determined finisher.
Did he just go chop there? Put that one-hand tomahawk slam. And that's such solid, fundamental basketball on display right there, guys.
You talk about it all the time, Greg. Yeah, great use of the pick to set up the dunk.
And, guys, it was a terrific understanding between teammates that made that possible. They really did read each other well there.
C.J. Miles, he's checked in for Indiana. Lawson comes in for George Hill. Here's Allen. It's rebounded by Boris Diaw.
And talking about Duncan's new look, Coach Popovich had an interesting quote. Pop said, I look at him and tell him, you look like Sprewell used to look. Just skin and bones, ligaments and tendons. I mean, but you know what? You can't argue with success, and not many people have had more than Tim Duncan.
So it's the Pacers now after the basket by San Antonio. Lawson kicks to Allen. Stuckey outside. That's tipped. But they'll get another chance. Whoops, there's the 24-second shot clock violation, so they'll turn it over. Spurs trail by 4. And Mills kicks to Diaw. There's 25 seconds left to play in the first quarter. 6 to shoot. Outside Aldridge. And the whistle blows. It's going to be on Jordan Hill. That's his first foul.
Yeah, clearly he had an established position there.
Yeah, and I like this call because you want the refs in that situation. If there's any doubt, err on the side of giving the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player. That should have been a block, and it was.
Ginobili dishes to Diaw. Here's Leonard. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2.
I mean, even from over here, you can see that one pretty clearly.
No question about it, Greg. I mean, a ton of contact and a good call by the officials.
The Spurs have gone 2 for 3 at the foul line in this game. The free throw drops for Leonard. Leonard hits them both.
And at the line, it's all about consistency with him. His routine, his stroke, it never wavers.
Just 4 seconds left here in the opening quarter. No good trying to beat the buzzer. And still a close game as the first quarter comes to a close. And the second quarter getting underway. No team gaining an edge so far. And taking a quick look here, guys, at the hustle stats for the Pacers.
Great hustle defensively through the first half, contesting everything and racking up the block shots.
Another thing, I mean, they've done a great job early of creating chaos on defense, being disruptive and getting steals through the first half of today's game.
The Indiana Pacers had a solid season last year, given they were without their star for most of it. They played well at home.
Yeah, even without Paul George, they were in contention. How about 23-18 at home, which is really a solid mark when you consider they didn't have their 2 best players from a season ago.
We've got Hill. C.J. Miles is out there with Allen. Then it's Lawson. And it's Stuckey in the shooting guard position. That's the 5 to begin the second quarter for the Pacers.
Good job there by Leonard setting that screen. You know, for the Pacers and their 23-18 home record, that was better than several teams that made the playoffs in the East. They were very tough at home at the defensive end of the floor.
And Aldridge comes over to help. And it's out of bounds. Last touch by Allen.
Well, that's inexcusable to throw a pass that far off the mark.
And Mills kicks to Aldridge. Outside Leonard. Back to Aldridge. It's stolen by Allen. Rodney Stuckey on the wing. Guarded by Green. There's the dish to Lawson. Misses the 3.
And the Pacers were 3rd in the league in field goal percentage against at home. Something about this crowd really drives the Pacers on the defensive end, even in a down year.
Gets that one to fall after missing his first 2. 1 for 3 from the field.
Hard to get that one off with the size difference there. That makes it a tough individual matchup for him, especially down low.
Well, took on the big guys going in there and challenging them like he did. But, boy, that was a nice job.
Now, here's Diop. He's had some playing time, but no scoring yet from him.
Those are the kind of nice inside looks they've gotten in the first half here.
And I think they should continue to work the ball down low, Clark. It's really going to free up their outside shooting. You know, huge height advantage there, but because of the great body control, he's able to cancel it out.
Agreed. The body control essential in that situation. I mean, if you're giving up a bunch of height, then you better be able to manufacture things in the air.
That doesn't go either for Lawson.
And if the shot's not there, you've got to understand that. Move the basketball.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm not quite sure what his mindset or what he was thinking there. I mean, that was just a terrible shot.
Stuckey into the lane. Miles, that's good.
Right now, they've got that field goal percentage up in the low 50s.
Putting it together offensively, looking to build some more momentum.
Now, here's Mills. Green passes to Diop. Back to Green. From 11 feet away. And with that shot, the Indiana lead got back down to 4 with the made basket from Boris Diop. And Lawson with the drive. Second chance shot. Hill, no good.
Well, he gets it in close, but you have to credit that stifling defense for forcing the miss.
Exactly, Greg. I mean, defense like that really increases the degree of difficulty on that shot by a large amount.
And guys, every time we think Patty Mills is going to take the next step in his development, he takes a step back. Last season, he shot career lows from the field and behind the arc after having one of his best ever campaigns the year before. That really just makes a coach pull his hair out, and fortunately for me, I don't have any.
The Pacers making a change here. George is checked in. San Antonio also making some changes. Tim Duncan, he's checked in for Dion. West comes in for LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Anderson in for Green. Well, back to Mills. The Spurs could have used his contributions last year. Parker was hobbled. Corey Joseph was still learning. Mills didn't put together consistent efforts and ended up losing minutes, Clark, because of it.
Yeah, you know, Mills had the opportunity to make an impact for a championship contender. That chance doesn't come very often. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the most of it.
Just such a well-rounded offensive player. He's got a little bit of everything.
Leonard on the wing. And that's collected by Hill. Hill's got his third rebound tonight. And it's George finishing it off.
His eyes just simply light up when he gets that close to the bucket. And you just know what he's going to do with the basketball.
Time called here. The Spurs decide to talk it over. Well, for Jordan Hill, something wonderful happened to him last season. The breakthrough he'd been waiting for on his 6th year.
Yeah, Kevin, you know, it had to do, and I think correlated with him getting a chance to start games, and it blew up for him from there. Posted career-high averages across the board.
And getting back to Jordan Hill, everyone had been waiting for this. I mean, greater activity, more aggressiveness, and he puts up career highs in points, rebounds, and assists.
So an entirely new group in now for Indiana. Mahinmi's checked in for Hill. Turner comes in for Allen. Monte Ellis, he's checked in for Rodney Stuckey. And George Hill's subbed in for Ty Lawson. Then for the Spurs, Ginobili comes in for Kawhi Leonard. And Tony Parker subbed in for Patty Mills. It's West with the drive. 4 on the shot clock.
A slight advantage for them in the rebound department, but that oftentimes is all it takes.
Especially, Greg, when you're scoring the ball at a decent clip the way they have. I mean, they've done exactly what's necessary to take the lead. On the topic of Jordan Hill, hey, there aren't many guys like him with his size who can move that well. He's entering the prime of his career right now. Will he continue to ascend, or will he be content with where he's at? Time to tell.
And that's out of bounds. Indiana will retain possession.
Yeah, that's a super defensive play. If that gets through, no doubt they score.
And that's why he sold out for it, because he knew he had to make that play. He wasn't going to let them get the advantage.
Hill drives in. Right through the D for the layup. And the Pacers lead by 6.
Great job of screening there. Nice job to take it to the rim and get the finish.
They set the pick. West dishes to Anderson. Outside, Ginobili. Good for the 5th time in 5 shots. He remains perfect.
That shot becomes effortless for him when the D is so relaxed. They've got to get more intense.
Hill kicks to Ellis. Inside. George. Good, and the assist goes to Ellis. That's 12 points for Paul George.
That makes it 10 of their last 12 points coming from inside the painted area.
and really something that the defense has to address.
Pacers leading by 5. Hill passes to Ellis. And George, here we go. Goes up high for the two-handed dunk.
Taking it to the rack with power right there.
And hammering down with the two-handed slam.
Just piling on the lead with the dunk like that.
Now here's Parker. The pass to Duncan. Ginobili right side. Tries from 10. That one off the back iron and out.
He operates well in traffic, but still, that's just a tough play to finish.
And George, here we go. Great D that time from Duncan. Spurs trail by 7. Ginobili dishes to Parker. Out to the wing. Duncan kicks it to West. And here's Anderson from the arc. And the shot is good. Anderson's got his first 3 points of the game.
And it's just hard to imagine the Spurs without Coach Popovich on the sidelines. He's the longest tenured coach in the NBA and has done so much for this team. Easily one of the best coaches in the history of our league.
The Pacers shooting their 5th attempt at the line in the game.
And if we want to take a look back, they converted about 76% from the line.
And the free throw, no good.
You know, you take a look at this group of Spurs and you wonder if they've peaked. I mean, it seems you say that a lot with this team, and they prove you wrong. But Popovich said last year he feels it might actually be the case.
Now here's Duncan. And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation. Pacers leading by 6. And George kicks to Mahimi. Back to George. Here's Hill. He dishes it to George. It's Ellis on the wing. Another shot. He squares up and sinks it. Ellis has got 4 this quarter. You know, one thing about this San Antonio team, they just didn't go away last year. Pop himself said he felt they peaked in the 2014 finals.
You know, and you wonder if what Pop said is true. Spurs lost in the first round last year, and they'll be going through a lot of changes in the near future. And with the way they run that organization, they'll still be competing, I believe, for quite some time.
Here's Ellis, following the basket by Tim Duncan. And it's George finishing it off.
Boy, that was a violent throw down there.
You're telling me.
I mean, it's almost like he doesn't like the rim.
Parker passes to Anderson. Duncan down low. And out of bounds as the Pacers gain possession. And the Pacers with possession here. Hill kicks to Ellis. He feeds it to George. San Antonio with the rebound. Duncan's got 4 rebounds now tonight. It's Parker with the drive. Can't get it to fall. Indiana leading by 8. .152 left in the first half of basketball. Hill dishes to George. 5 on the clock. Here's Mahimi. It's tipped. It's stolen by Duncan. It's Anderson with the drive. Pass to Ginobili. Duncan, a screen. Ginobili the pass to Duncan. Out to West. Off the mark there with the three-point shot. Knocked loose. Stolen by Anderson. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot two. That one on George.
And you know what? You allow a guy to get right to the rim like that. That's your only option.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, free throws are always better than a layup, so I'd agree with you there, Greg.
The Spurs have made 6 of their 7 attempts at the line in this one. And he makes the first. Everyone knows about the Paul George injury from last year and how it affected the Pacers. He said almost the entire season, and there was no doubt they missed him.
Yeah, and when George came back, Kevin, the Pacers got hot, but they had to put him on a minutes limit. And it wasn't just George, though. The team as a whole had a lot of injuries during the course of the season.
And both free throws good for Anderson.
And, you know, as you said, the Pacers did have problems with injuries. The team roster missed 219 games due to injury. So compare that to the 69 games missed by the Pacers in 2014. Big difference.
Now, here's Mahinmi. Ellis kicks to Mahinmi. Stolen by Ginobili. And now in transition is Mills. Here we go. It's deflected. Ginobili dishes to Diaw. Ellis goes in. Rebounded by the Spurs.
And really, guys, the most telling part of the Pacers' injury troubles was this. Had to use 15 different starting lineups over the course of the season. Just hard to stay consistent and competitive when you are always replacing an injured player in the lineup.
Here's Hill, following the three-pointer by San Antonio. Here's Ellis. 10 points for him. The feed to Mahinmi. Hill has the open look. And right away, they match it with a three-pointer of their own.
George! Only took them a few seconds to answer the three ball with one of their own.
Greg, we've got a three-point battle taking shape here.
So we've reached the end of the first half of play. Pacers out in front, leading by 6. Stay with us, folks. We'll get back just after halftime to start the third quarter. It's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first half. Third quarter starting here now.
Well, how about Paul George in this one? He's got 16 points and 3 denials.
And guys, he's been making play after play on both ends of the floor.
No let up in him, and that's mindset. That's not just physical tenacity, but that's a mental tenacity, too, that he brings to the court.
Pacers leading by 6. Well, we've got a moment. Let's set the floor. Brought to you by Gatorade. All fueled up for the second half. On the court for San Antonio. Kawhi Leonard is out there with LaMarcus Aldridge. Then there's Parker. Then there's Boris Diaw. And it's Anderson in at the 2.
You know, and Paul George played the first few years of his career in the NBA with 24 on his back, and as you can see, he now goes with 13 after making the switch prior to last year.
And with Paul George going with the number 13 now, as you can see, helps with his nickname PG-13.
Yeah, that's a good nickname, a nice fit. Young Tracy, as he likes to go by on Twitter, he said himself that it was about embracing his stature and stardom in the league. Nice way to do it.
Leonard attacking, and he finishes it off with a one-handed jam.
Tell you what, Kevin, they'd love to see him get a lot more of those opportunities.
Clark, that deficit will go away quickly if he does.
And how about how he capped that one out, almost like the 1-2 punch.
Here's George. No good. And San Antonio will go the other way with it. Leonard attacking. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
Well, you know that Kawhi Leonard has an incredible reach with his arms, but even his hands are just massive, measured at 10 inches long and 11 inches wide.
Okay,
wow.
Gentlemen, 2 shots. 2 shots.
The first one falls. Well, to give some perspective on Leonard's hand size that Greg was talking about, Clark, those measurements, 11 by 10, are what you typically would find on 7-footers. Well, this kid's 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, and I'm 6'9", and I'm about 9 by 7, okay?
Huh.
So that just lets you know.
Wow.
The only other hands comparable to that, Dr. J.
Ooh, yes, huge. Now, here is Hill. George passes to Mahinmi. Back to George. Ellis outside. Indiana moving it around. Hill kicks to Mahinmi. It's rebounded by Boris Diaw. Diaw's got his 4th rebound in this one. Out to Parker. Back to Leonard. Diaw dishes to Leonard. Back to Diaw. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2.
Fellas, you look at Boris Diaw and say, my goodness, if he could just get in better shape. But he uses every bit of that significant backside of his to his advantage. Opponents can't get through him or around him, so he's making good use of the extra LBs.
Getting back to Diaw, he has a sneaky quick first step. You think he won't or can't blow by you, then suddenly, and you know this, Greg, you're stuck to his hip as he's taking it to the rack for a and one.
You know, he's a bit like Foreman, and I'm not talking about his body type.
Or the grill.
Yeah, you know, Diaw plays with you a little bit, puts that body on you, lulls you to sleep, then wham, shows you up in the worst way.
George passes to Hill. And George kicks to Hill. Rebound San Antonio.
They have yet to hit a shot. A real slow start here in the second half.
The drive by Green. Aldridge with it. Picked up by Turner. Shoots from the right block. That's in, and the Pacer lead is cut down to just 1 on the basket from LaMarcus Aldridge. For Indiana, they've gone 0-3 and are still looking for that first bucket here in the second half. Ellis outside. On the wing, Hill. Back to Ellis. Good, and it's Hill picking up the assist. That's 12 points for Monte Ellis.
Timely passing leads to assists, and that's been the recipe for success.
Everybody on the same page, completely in sync. Tremendous communication and awareness.
Here's Aldridge. And he drops in the layup off the glass. Aldridge has got his second basket of the game.
That makes 3 in a row to start the second half.
Ellis left side. Feeds it to Hill. George with the ball. Picked up by Aldridge. Hill dishes to Ellis. It's good, and it's his 6th make against 11 attempts.
He shot the ball exceptionally well as they built this lead for themselves here.
Leonard with a screen on Hill. And Diaw kicks to Leonard. Pass to Aldridge. Paul George with the steal. And stolen by Aldridge. Here's Leonard. And it's sent back by George.
And another miss. Ooh, he's having a really ugly game.
Yeah, about as ugly as you can have, you're right. And that one's good. And taking a quick look here, guys, at the hustle stats for Indiana.
We've seen them make the extra effort from a defensive standpoint, closing out airspace and sending shots back.
You know, adding on to that, we can't fail to mention all the steals they've piled up, too. I mean, that's making a big difference. They've really gotten into them defensively.
Indiana leading by 6. Kicks to Turner. The shot's good on the assist by George. And that's now 6 points for Miles Turner.
There's PG creating for a teammate. Terrific dime drop.
San Antonio calls timeout.
Clearly, he's not pleased with all the looks they've given up on the inside, and also to get them to tighten up that defense.
Yeah, and I think he's going to let them know about it. I mean, they're playing some soft interior defense, and you can't win that way. That's a recipe for disaster if you're not going to play with some physicality inside.
And really just trying to take the wind out of their sails here, I think. You know, they're on the wrong end of a run and need to just kind of exhale.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to stop the bleeding. Things were starting to spiral completely out of control, and I think a timeout was a no-brainer there.
So San Antonio goes with a fresh 5 on the floor. Here's Ginobili. He's got 12. Dishes to Mills. Can they get it? Pacers with the rebound. George has got 6 rebounds now in the game. For a while, the Spurs were viewed as a slow-it-down team from their championships almost a decade ago. That isn't the case at all anymore.
You know, I think it took the viewing public quite a while to catch on, though, Kevin, because now most people look at the Spurs as one of the more exciting brands of basketball in our league. Just watching one game of them, and now you know that is the case.
Good, and the assist goes to Ellis. Ellis has got 3 assists in the game.
Every time it gets scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Yeah, they have really owned the interior. You've got to collapse that defense and force them to beat you over the top.
And with that shot, the Indiana lead is cut back down to 8. An important basket there from Mills. And here is Hill. He's got 9. It's stolen by Duncan. It's Martin on the wing. All sorts of time. It's hauled in by George. George has got rebound number 7 for him tonight. And Tim Duncan gets the whistle that time. That's his first foul.
Oh, man, it's close, but, you know, didn't get on balance quick enough.
Yeah, and as quick as players are at this level, in this day and age, I mean, you've got to be perfect in your anticipation to draw the charge.
Now let's the pass to Mahimi. Ellis against Martin. Ellis dishes to Mahimi. Offensive rebound.
And you saw how quick the defense was. They were ready for him. They got the hand in the face there and made that much more difficult.
Yeah, and every team needs that kind of rugged interior defense because you want to try to distract your opponents when they get inside, and you also want to make them uncomfortable in their shot attempts.
Here's George. Mills with the rebound. Spurs trail by 8. Here's Ginobili. Rebound by Mahimi. Mahimi's got 6 rebounds now in the game. It's Hill on the wing, covered by Mills. Mahimi kicks to Turner, to the paint.
Oh! Tell you what, he's going to put that one in his scrapbook. absolutely insane with that dunk.
Well, now they're starting to rub it in, aren't they? Have build up a lead, and here we go, folks. It's showtime.
That was a Kodak moment right there. The more plays they make like that, the more they'll have these guys on the ropes.
They set the screen. Clock is at 3. Can't get it to go.
I'm a fan of anybody who defends that way. I mean, they weren't about to open the door and just allow him to cruise in for a layup.
Can't get it to go.
It's not winning basketball when you're attempting shots like that.
Yeah, come on now. You got to remember it's a team game. He's got 4 teammates out there with him. I don't think he needs to try to do it all by himself like that.
Martin, the pass to Ginobili. And they're going to count the bucket and send him to the line. It could be a 3-point play.
It really does make the game easy for your teammates when you can lead them to the rim that well with a pass.
That free throw good from Ginobili.
And, you know, guys, Manu Ginobili's relationship with Greg Popovich has been really interesting over the years. In the beginning, Pop obviously had a rigid system. Ginobili played with a lot more freestyle and freewheeling nature. The two clashed heavily early on, as one might expect.
So Indiana ends up with a new group on the floor. And San Antonio with the change here, too. Leonard, he's checked in for Manu Ginobili.
And now, let's do it.
Timeout called the Pacers. Getting back to Ginobili and Popovich, everyone thought Popovich would break Ginobili of his reckless ways, but in fact, you know this, it was the opposite.
Yeah. You know, Pop recognized he had something special in Ginobili, and it ended up changing his own philosophy, I mean, which I think speaks to the greatness of Greg Popovich. I mean, he was quoted as saying, you know, he does things, Ginobili, that win games. It taught me to watch a little bit more and not be so micromanagement-like, and not sure Pop's ever said that about anybody else.
Solomon Hill, he's checked in for the Pacers. San Antonio also making some changes. Boris Diaz checked in for Duncan. Aldridge comes in for David West. And it's Anderson in for Kevin Martin. And so it's Indiana with it. Spurs trail by 7. Leonard kicks to Anderson. Diaw dishes to Anderson. That's good. Anderson's got 7 points in the game.
They are just killing them on the interior.
Yeah, you can't say that with enough emphasis. I mean, the defenders are just not being aggressive enough down low. You got to play with some physicality in the paint.
Allen passes to Lawson. The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. 1 free throw coming his way.
Yeah, heard the whistle and then kept his focus and able to still knock it down.
And, Greg, to be able to take the bump like that and maintain control, that's not easy to do. I know you're kind of a little fella, but I was a big guy when I played, so I know how difficult that is. That was impressive.
I see. Not really his best quarter as far as scoring. Let's see if he can eventually get back on track.
Looked like he was channeling Bob Cousy right there. Since when does he take guys off the dribble like that? Well, one thing about Ty Lawson is he's very good at attacking the defense. Gets inside without a problem and knows how to set up teammates.
And for Lawson, he is great when he attacks. He does obviously create well for his team on drives. Interesting player, certainly, but playing with a team that's growing and pretty young around him.
A good point. And, you know, last season, Lawson averaged about 13 points for his team off of his own drives. I mean, that means 13 points a night would be a direct result of him attacking the rim. That's second in the league in a stat that only trailed James Harden.
I think that would surprise some people.
Yes.
And Mills kicks to Diaw. Lawson with it. He's got 7. Hill inside. Diaw's there. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for 2. It's on LaMarcus Aldridge. The San Antonio Spurs, a team that has had such a strong core and is so disciplined, Clark, it's hard to see them struggle, even think of them struggling, even on the road.
Well, you know, last season they did have trouble at times on the road, but 22-19, still not too bad.
Parker's checked in for Patty Mills.
And for the Spurs on the road, it was the scoring. They were so good at home, but scored 8.5 points less per game on the road. That was the biggest margin in the NBA.
Now here's Lawson. Just 5 on the clock. Here's Hill. Takes a big high bounce and goes in. Hill's got 5.
Boy, it's been a long time since the Spurs had a losing record on the road, so there aren't any concerns for them. I mean, they've never had a losing road record since Tim Duncan was drafted. Wow, that's back to 1997.
And how good a playmaker has Tony Parker been? One of the best in recent history. The all-time leader in assists for the Spurs over his 14 years there. Just a crafty guy with the ball in his hand.
And so he makes both from the line. And continuing our talk of Tony Parker, the first year he laced up his sneakers, he increased the tempo for that entire Spurs offense, and it continues to this day.
Yeah, and the increase in floor spacing and tempo, a big reason the Admiral, Tim Duncan, and Parker won the championship together in 2003, and obviously Duncan and Parker have won a few more rings since then.
And the shot is good from Stuckey.
That was simply a defensive breakdown there, Kevin. He was all alone for that shot. It was a warm-up jumper.
Diaw, the screen. Aldridge wide open, he fires. And he comes off the screen to bury the jump shot.
A lot of space right there to get that shot off.
Not a very good job of the defender getting over the top of that screen in that particular play.
Now here's Lawson. 7 points in the game. Stuckey dishes to Hill. Back to Stuckey. Good, the assist goes to Hill. Stuckey's got the lead up to 14 now for Indiana.
And they are trying to put the hammer down, attacking the rim whenever they can.
Diaw with the screen on Lawson. It's stolen by Allen. Here's Stuckey. Finished off the break. Stuckey's got 7 points for the quarter. And here at the end of the third quarter, it's a double-digit ball game. Pacers lead by 16. And we'll be back with you right after this. And thanks again for joining us. Let's see what happens here in the fourth. Spurs trail by 16. Lavoy Allen out there with Hill. Then there's Rodney Stuckey. Then there's Solomon Hill. And it's Lawson in at the point guard. That's the Pacers 5. Now here is Aldridge. Clock at 6. Parker. And the layup is good. Parker's got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for San Antonio. Lawson the pass to Stuckey. Stuckey a screen on Diaw. Hill kicks to Stuckey. Launches a 3. San Antonio with the rebound. Aldridge has got rebound number 8 here tonight in the game.
I tell you what, that's just a major unforced error right there, guys. My goodness.
Pacers leading by 14. Lawson with a screen on Diaw. Hill dishes to Stuckey. The second chance effort. And foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The free throw drops for Hill. Well, the Pacers, despite all their injuries from last season, were right in the playoff hunt until the very end. Had a chance, in fact, GA, on the last day to sneak in, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, they needed a Brooklyn loss to go along with them winning that last game. Ultimately, though, it wasn't in the cards for them, and they ended a game out of the postseason.
You know, that's a case there, Kevin, of him making a pass to a spot, and then he let his teammate run right into it. Well executed.
Stuckey kicks to Allen. Hill drives in. Stuckey outside. Indiana needs to get a shot off. And there's the shot clock violation. Couldn't get the shot off in time.
And, you know, the Pacers had made the playoffs in each of the last 4 seasons prior to last year's miss. Hard for a team that was coming off of back-to-back conference finals appearances to stomach that. But with the injuries, they'll be better and back in the playoffs next year, I'm sure.
Green, the pass to Aldridge. Tries from the block. Kept alive. Count it, and the Pacer lead has been cut down now to just 11 on the basket from Anderson.
He got a great read of where that miss was going, and that allowed him to be the first guy to it and get the putback.
That's good. And that's now 9 points for Lawson.
And really, it's going to be more of a reload than a rebuild situation for the Pacers. You would have to imagine their goal isn't just to get back to the playoffs, but to get back to being a conference final participant.
Here's Aldridge. Boom, he jams it straight down.
And really nothing like a good old-fashioned throwdown to get a team going.
And, Greg, they do need to get going. They wouldn't mind, shaving a couple more points off that lead right away.
Well, if the defense keeps giving up easy baskets like that, it won't be a lead for long.
And for LaMarcus Aldridge, always praised for his terrific shooting, his rebounding, as we know, Greg, has always been fantastic. Over the past 2 seasons, he's averaged double-digit boards.
And that's why so many teams wanted him in this last free agency period. His ability to put points on the board as well as clean the boards. What a deadly combination.
Spurs trail by 11. And the lead is down inside single digits. Aldridge has got 10 points in just the second half. Lawson dishes to Stuckey. Hill kicks to Lawson. San Antonio with the rebound. Anderson's got his 3rd rebound tonight.
If he can improve on what's been a shaky day for him thus far, they could stretch this lead out.
Well, they left it until the 4th quarter, but finally the run they needed to get back into this one.
I didn't think it was going to happen for them, quite honestly, but they finally turned it on, turned it up a little bit. Now they've got to come up with some stops.
Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over.
And look, rightfully disappointed with how they've played here over the course of this run.
Yeah, they haven't looked good at all here lately. Something has to change for him, and we'll see what he's got coming out of the timeout.
And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
I was able to listen in on what Frank Vogel had to say to his team. His message was this: all of us know these guys are capable of exploding and putting up points in a hurry, so I don't want to see anybody letting up until that final whistle blows. Guys, back to you.
It's tipped. Leonard with the steal. Hammers it down off the coast-to-coast break.
And when you thought this 4th quarter was simply a formality, all of a sudden the offense picks up, and now we have a game.
Can't quite put my finger on it, but something gave them a jolt, and now they're knocking down everything. We've got some fireworks in store for us down the stretch.
And the wide-open shot from Stuckey. That is in there. Lawson with the assist.
And you know what? He's shaking off the cold shooting performance from the first half.
Now here's Mills. Picked by West. And Mills kicks to Leonard. But they recover it. Duncan, the pass to Green. Back to Duncan. Tries again. And, yep, finally drops after rolling around the rim.
It seems that every pass they make is leading to a score here. I mean, that's just exquisite ball movement.
And that's because the ball is looking for the best shot, and it's really paid off for them during the run.
It's stolen by Green. Leonard attacking. Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here.
Looking at the game for Kawhi Leonard, he has 11 points, and the contribution from the line for him, he's made 5 free throws.
And he hasn't been afraid to draw a little bit of contact on his way to the basket. Some guys shy away from that.
Some changes for Indiana. Mahimi's checked in for Hill. Ellis comes in for Rodney Stuckey. And George Hill's subbed in for Ty Lawson. And San Antonio with the change here, too. Ginobili's checked in.
Listen, Kawhi Leonard hasn't been in the league for a long time, but he's feeling right at home. He said last season he wants to remain a Spur for life.
Maybe could have tried for a more memorable dunk than that.
And we know he's capable of those memorable dunks.
Yeah, and when he's got a lead like that, why not take a few chances? A lot more engaging and entertaining than just doing the old ho-hum one-hander.
Just 4 to shoot. Here's Duncan. San Antonio again missing. And for Leonard to hear players say that a lot, but rarely before they reach the end of their rookie contract.
Yeah, I think Leonard just realizes what a special situation he found himself in. I mean, he is the complete package as a player and custom made for how the Spurs like to play and do things.
And Mills kicks to Leonard. Picked by West. Leonard, no luck.
Good pick, but he just couldn't make it count.
Yeah, nice job of setting the screen by his teammate there, and I'm sure he appreciated it.
But that would have been lucky had it fallen. Poor shot selection.
Yeah, look at the coach's face and the expression. It says all over it, are you kidding me? Major league big boy throwdown right there.
And he keeps a tight grip on that rim after the finish.
Yeah, maybe that'll give them a little bit of that swagger that they seem to have lost.
And George, here we go. No one near Turner as he lets it go. And again, it's Indiana converting.
Guys, you know, you're not going to hit that shot too often. That's high risk.
San Antonio calls timeout.
Yeah, it looks like he saw some things out there that need to be adjusted, and he's going to take a break here and talk it over.
Hey, you know, coaches sometimes need a break in the action to rethink and retool a bit. Anytime you're in that situation, it makes sense to use the timeout.
Paul George really making a difference here.
They don't seem to have any answers for him. They need to review their game plan and look for a way to cool him off.
And some changes here for the Spurs. LaMarcus Aldridge, he's checked in for West. Green comes in for Manu Ginobili. And Tony Parker subbed in for Patty Mills. Duncan right side. It's deflected. It's stolen by Hill. To the middle. Here's George. And he stuffs it. What a pass to set him up.
And guys got careless with the ball there, and the turnover leads to the big stuff.
Once he came up right with the steal, he went straight on the attack.
That's exactly the way to do it too, Kevin. Go hard to the bucket and don't let them set up the defense.
Throws it down as the official calls the foul. It may be a three-point play. It's on Kawhi Leonard.
A one-man show offensively, and that's almost always good news for his team.
You know, if you're looking to build a small forward and there wasn't a LeBron James template, you might go with PG, Paul George. Height, length, athleticism, that combination off the charts with him. And he's got a nice, unflappable demeanor, too.
To stop the run. Count it, and the Pacer lead has been cut down now to just 12 points with the basket from Kawhi Leonard. Indiana's gone 2 of 3 in the fourth quarter from long range. Good shooting so far. And Turner kicks to Ellis. And the layup's good off the glass. And the Pacers lead by 14. Yeah, talking about Paul George, a big part of his dominance, his attitude. He doesn't yell or pump his fist. He's really the quiet assassin.
Yeah, once he maxes out in the weight room, which he will, now that he's in his mid-20s, I think he's going to be an Adonis. I mean, exactly the kind of physique you're looking for in a prototype at the small forward.
Parker with the steal. Here we go.
Oh, wow.
That's a beautiful jam. It's not possible what we just caught. Is that possible?
Not probable, but it is possible, partner. It is possible.
And think about it, guys. That's one of the few guys in the entire league who can pull off something like that.
Time called here. Indiana decides to talk it over.
And now, let's do it for your defense.
Ginobili's checked in for San Antonio. Turner with the screen for Hill. It's Ellis on the wing. Passes to George. Right side Turner. 4 on the shot clock. Banked in off the glass. Turner's got 4 points in the quarter.
And that's his strong suit, the ability to find his way through the D and finish at the rim.
Parker outside. Outside Leonard. Duncan with the screen on George. Leonard attacking. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2.
Oh, the officials are all over that one.
Clearly a foul. I mean, didn't give him any choice but to blow the whistle. I mean, you got to play without fouling.
The free throw drops for Leonard. Leonard hits them both. .157 left here in the fourth quarter. The drive by Hill. Good. And the Pacers lead by 12.
They're forcing the ball inside, and it's working beautifully.
It really is. 5 out of 6 of their last field goals have come from the paint.
Leonard. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. That one on George.
Oh, the officials are all over that one.
Clearly a foul. I mean, didn't give him any choice but to blow the whistle. I mean, you got to play without fouling.
And the second free throw, good.
He needed to convert on all of those. Missed opportunities at the line are the last thing they need right now.
He kicks it to Mahinmi. George dishes to Hill. And Aldridge comes over to help. There's Ellis with the 3 ball. It's hauled in by Duncan. Duncan's got his 8th rebound here tonight. Leonard with no one around. And Aldridge slams it in.
Just lazy defense on the glass there.
Well, nobody boxed out. Nobody put a body on anybody else. Things like that not only drive the coach crazy, that stuff gets under my skin.
And now as the clock ticks down, this is going to end up as a solid victory here for Indiana.
Great, generous ball movement tonight. A thing of beauty.
Yeah, a remarkable team effort, Kevin. Everybody got involved, and that paid dividends.
And beyond the actual result of this game, fans are going to look back and see this was just a monstrous performance for George. He was doing everything right, and the points came in bunches. Definitely had the hot hand. Just look at how quickly the lead has grown here over the last few possessions.
Clear case here, partner, of saving their best for last. Quite a run.
And then Leonard with the dunk.
And a sturdy screen set for him that time, and he doesn't fool around, just straight to the rim for the finish.
No way for his man to get around that one, that's for sure.
No chance, Kevin. I mean, the screen was in the right spot. His feet were set. He would have had to go straight through him, and that's not legal.
Parker inside. He's guarded by Hill. Parker passes to Aldridge. It's rebounded by Indiana. At one point, they led by 16. So no problem for Indiana as they get the win. Even early on in this one, it seemed like they were happy to be playing at home tonight.
Well, you know, it makes a big difference. I mean, you never felt like they had any doubts that they'd come out on top.
Thank you for joining us. That'll do it for now. This is Kevin Harlan saying thank you for watching. So long.